Hi, I am Tony Bramley. I am the Business Development Coordinator here at TMC, and you are on TMC Connect. Thank you so much for being here. Today, our special guest is Joe Wilson, founder of Social Coach. And Joe is the man, I'm telling you. All things social media, he is the guy. And today he is going to take us through some secret tips and hacks on creating social media posts. So with that, just a couple of housekeeping things. So everybody has entered on mute, but if you would like, please feel free to drop questions in the Q&A or the chat, and I will shout those out for you as we go along. Also, you will receive an email tomorrow with the video, as well as a link to the video, as well as any follow-up information. So thank you once again, everyone, for being here. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joe.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Tony. And hello to all my friends out there. It's good to see some familiar and lovely faces of you wonderful mortgage marketers. Always a pleasure to get to be with the TMC and with each of you. So thank you so much for allowing me this time to be with you. So today I thought it'd be kind of fun. And I noticed that some of you guys were on a previous little class that we've done. So it's not going to be the same. You may be a little bit of a crossover, but today I wanted to talk a little bit about creating what is called carousels. Sometimes they're called multi-page images, sliders, you name it. But these are wonderful ways to get really great engagement on social media, whether that's Instagram. Facebook is a little harder, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But also LinkedIn, there's a new way to do carousels. And the reason for why they're so amazing for your social media engagement is twofold. One, you can tell a really good story. And stories are what do very well on social media, whether that's a personal story, a concept story about a certain product you have, a loan officer, an initiative that you have, you name it. But the other reason why they're so phenomenal is that you get viewers' attention and you grab it a little longer. And what happens with the algorithms, particularly on like Instagram, for example, when you have, they track and they measure how long an individual views your content. And that's whether they just like, if you got them to stop scrolling, if they swipe through, you name it. When you get more of that attention and you have people pause in your content longer, your content will then be more viewable in the future. The algorithms you're training the algorithms to think that your content is more valuable than other people's. That's exactly what you want, because you want to be visible as often as possible. So I'm going to show you what we're going to create, and then we're going to go back and create it. And maybe just a little bit different, but we'll see how this goes. So let me share my screen here and show you what a carousel is, because maybe you don't know what this is. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. This is my Instagram account. Well, not mine. This is our business's account. So Social Coach. Definitely go follow us, by the way, on Instagram for some great tips and tricks like this, as well as just other mortgage marketing information. Our whole goal is to be a resource and a help to every single person on this call, and but specifically for mortgage marketers. So socialcoach.io, definitely check that out here. Okay.
Hey, before you get started, we already
Yes.
have a question. So does a loan officer need to include all Safe Act stuff on their social media images or in a post? Or is it sufficient for their NMLS name, title, company NMLS, and then the bio profiles?
That's such a good question.
Yeah,
we
can take it up afterwards if you want to.
No, let's just address it right now.
Okay.
Let's address it up front, because I feel like this is a big topic. I am not a compliance expert or legal counsel, so take this at face value.
But I play one on television.
Yeah, but take this as from somebody who has talked to many a compliance manager, just nonstop in these kind of discussions with all of some of you are on this call, compliance and legal counsels. And what I hear is it varies based on the individual company, but what I hear most often is that is is that if you have, let's pretend this is your loan officer's Instagram account or their Facebook page or what have you. 10 out of 10 will recommend having your full legal name that you have registered for the NMLS and your NMLS ID in this profile, as well as any business address or whatever you choose, right? That is sufficient enough for 9 out of 10 of mortgage companies I talk to, as well as 9 out of 10 of the posts that you do. You have to be very careful though, and I big asterisks on this, right? Is if you are doing a specific post about with an offer of credit, which you probably should never do. Keep your post to just kind of more informational, general knowledge, not an offer or an extension of credit. But if you do kind of border on one of those things, definitely at that post level, do include that information. So my recommendation to this individual who's asking this question is to just get with your compliance counsel, get with your legal counsel, and ask for their opinion on this and get it documented into a social media policy that your company can adopt and abide by. Having a strong written policy like that will help you not only every day and help your loan officer stay in the guidelines, but also when it comes time for auditors or examiners to come into your organization and review your documentation, review your posts, that if you have that written down, even if it's wrong, more often than not, they'll be a little more courteous with you on that. So I hope that answers your question. I think at least that's my opinion on this. So take it for what you will. And if you do have any follow-up questions on that, please feel free to shoot one in here, or you can also email me, joe@socialcoach.io. Happy to talk more detail about this. It looks like Gabby joined. Hi, Gabby. Good to see you, my friend. Okay. Good. Oh, awesome. Thanks. Okay. So here's what we're going to be doing today. This looks on the surface like all these are individual images. But when you're on, your phone, these actually scroll. So this here looks a little more like this. So they do scroll, and you'll see here, it's kind of like one image, and I love these, and people love these. These are one of the top engaging and algorithm hacking types of posts that you can create that are just so cool. So this is one we just recently created here, and I'm going to kind of go over how we did this and how you can do it as well. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, how to create these thumb stopping, really clean images in carousels to help get better engagement. And then also show you how, so these okay, so they're very good on Instagram and very good on LinkedIn, but you have to do them differently on LinkedIn because images don't do this. But the hack is this: you create them as PDFs. I'm going to show you how to do this, but here's how it looks on LinkedIn. So very similar, but you have to do it as a PDF for it to actually have the swipe. So I'll show you how this works, but it's the same thing. It does really well. If you were to do these as images, it would kind of block and chunk it out into these different things, and it would look really dumb. So don't do them as pings or JPEGs or any other of those formats of just pictures. Do it as a PDF. So I'll show you how to do all that today. We've already talked for 9 minutes, so I'm going to hustle through this. So first and foremost, I personally love Canva. I know there are a lot of people who feel like it's not the best thing to do because it's not professional and all these kind of things. And to that, I just say that's BS. Like, you can do so much on Canva that probably even sometimes more than you can do with Photoshop and Illustrator and InDesign. And those cost so much money every single month, and you're using a fraction of it. So for pretty much everybody on this call, I'd recommend just signing up for a Canva Pro account. It's like $13 a month, so it's not a significant spend. I do use the Pro version all the time, and I think it's very valuable. You can get along without doing it, but I'll show you some of the things of why I like to have them. Really quick, I see a question on here. Jessica Vilka says, can you schedule carousels through Hootsuite? So Jessica, unfortunately, through any of these schedulers, they don't allow you to do it. You have to do it manually through Instagram's native platform. So carousels, while awesome, do have that kind of one drawback. So Individual posts are great for using the scheduling, but on carousels, you do need to go in and natively post them. So great question. All right. So how do we make a carousel then? Because honestly, like I struggled with this for a long time before I kind of figured out this hack. And honestly, guys, I didn't create it or make this hack. I just started Googling around and there were other people who are way smarter than me, but I'm going to show you how to do it hands-on because it took, oops, I just lost my video. That was weird. There we are, back again. Okay, so I, YouTube, but they were really hard to do. So hopefully this will be really easy for you to see and be able to do it. So what you're going to do is decide before you begin designing how long, how many posts, individual pieces of that carousel you want to have. You can go up to 10 on Instagram and really unlimited on LinkedIn because it's a PDF. But I recommend honestly like 5 to 7 because I feel like honestly, if you're not getting your message out in 5 scrolls, you probably missed out. So how do you do this? I will show you how by showing you ones that I've already created. So you do this by creating a new post, and you do this here by going to create a new design. And what we're going to do is say presentation or any of them, but you can do custom size. Okay. So if we go to custom size, and what we're going to do is we have, and I'm just coming out here to verify the numbers. A square post is 1080 by 1080. Okay. Those are pixel widths. So with that, if you do 1080 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5, 1080 times 5 posts or 5 carousels will be 5,400. Okay. So we're going to do 5,400 by oops, not by 1350. That is not right. So we're going to do 5,400 wide because that's how long it is by 1080 high. Okay. That is our design. And that will give us this really nice, but super small to use. So you can always zoom in here. But the first thing that you're going to do is start setting guidelines. And you can do that. You can see these little rulers here on the side. This shows you your height as well as your width. So what you're going to do is you're going to come here and you're going to click on the side and then drag. And we're going to go all the way to 1080 for our first one. And I wish there was a really easier way to do this. I'm not going to show you all of them, but you just got to scoot your mouse over just a little bit.
So you're just chopping it up, right?
The 1080. So you're going to chop it up. I'm not going to get here, but you go, 1, 2, 3. This is going to look almost right, but not perfect. And we'll go to my other one here. Okay. So there we've got 4 of them or 5 of them, excuse me. Here's what it looks like when you've actually done it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5,400 by 1080. And if you zoom in, you can see here, we've got my rulers set. And on either one that I'm on there for a minute. So I've just dragged and put these on here. So what we'll do here is I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger. And I would just say when you're creating, if you're going to create multiple carousels, just create them on the same thing here because you may want to reuse some of the assets and pull them around. You kind of have a nice framework for what it looks like before. So I like to just create things on the same format here. And I do that by just duplicating the pages. And so now I'm going to make this a little bit wider too. So we've got our full screen of view here. And then I just literally just go here like this. And I'll keep my social coach thing. No, we'll just delete everything. And I've got scroll, delete. I've got a nice clean break here, and you're able to get this done. So a couple things I just want to mention is with a good carousel, and you can kind of see here on the top, and I'm not saying mine are great, but they're good. I feel like they're pretty clean. They look pretty decent. This one got a little too messy. I would probably redo that if I had the chance, but I just was getting a little crazy over here. But a good carousel, what I've seen on really high engaging posts from really great influencers and other brands is you have this kind of like scroll where it's one image. So it looks like you have one really cohesive look. And you can do that by, so let's just say we're going to do a post about, our quick application, right? Apply for then we'll do loan mortgage. Oops, let's learn how to spell Joe. And then we'll say in under 15 minutes, right? And let's zoom in and we'll make this look good. So one thing I love to do with design is kind of create a nice, clean edge or barrier here, and have a nice impactful font. This font that I'm using here is called Bison. It's a nice tall font. When you're working with squares, you want to have create some length in here. So looking for these tall types of fonts can really help you. A nice bold font is eye-catching and gripping. Using things like Arial or Helvetica or Times New Roman looks, for lack of a better word, cheap. So don't use those unless you want to kind of look like you're just not really working very hard. So, but when you create these blocks, sometimes it's really eye-catching. So what I like to do is get everything you can kind of see here, I've got everything kind of one size right now. What we're gonna do is just try to get this so it's just the right size on here. So as it just kind of drops there and then come back to it being just there. And so what I'm going to do here is we're going to say, all right, we're going to say apply for A, and then you're going to line this up real nicely. And if you drag this, Canva has a lot of these really great snaps. So you can see here how that pink line kind of pops up here, keeps you nice and in line. And then I'm going to pop this up here like that. And we're going to make this all here. So there we've got apply for mortgage under 15 minutes. Use your brand colors, use other colors, kind of make things pop, right? So here, we're applying for mortgage under 15 minutes. We've got mortgage as our big, bold color. We've got this under 15 minutes. So now let's find some kind of image. So here, let's say, the message here is really about time. Any of these kind of look very cool. I could see this looking pretty neat. Let's look and see. But you can see there are some that say free. There's some that say pro. A lot of the really good images say pro on there. That's what you're going to have to pay for. What's cool about Canva Pro is all these images are royalty free. So as you use them for your own account and access, all this is included in your payment here. I like this. This looks pretty cool to me. It's got some movement on it. I feel like I can make it go across multiple things, but I don't love this background. So one of the things that Canva does really well is this thing called background remover. I'm wondering how it's going to work with this. So we'll find out. So
I call the background remover Gabby's magic hand.
Gabby's magic hand. She's got the magic fingers, right? Yep. So we click on effects. And then background remover. There are some really cool effects here, guys, by the way. Things that I've used a lot, like smart mockups. If you're wanting to show your application on a phone and you want to show kind of some movement, your images can get applied to some of these really cool mockups here. If you want to change the color of something, you can change with duotone. If you want to make things look like they're split or, bad TV, they've got all different kinds here, but let's use background remover. This is the magic stuff. I will say sometimes if you've got a slow connection, it can be a little wonky. For me in the afternoons here, yeah, that definitely did not work. That looks horrible. Well, let's try a different one here.
Joe, remember you can also do the restore or remove thing if you really, really like. If you really like that picture, you could go in with the restore function after you've erased it, and you can kind of fill in the spaces that you want to give it back.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a really good point, Gabby. I love that. Super helpful.
And we had a question, are guidelines only available on Pro?
I actually don't know that answer. I think that they're available on all of them, not just Pro. But you would see them kind of on here. I think I did add a setting where I said to show them.
It goes under, I had to Google it because I saw you had the guidelines and I was like, how did he do that? I've eyeballed things so many times. You actually go under file. And then once you hit file, it has create new design. Then it says show rulers or show guides.
Here we go. This is the stuff here, guys. That should be, I think that is not on the Pro version. I think that's for every single one. But these are the rulers and the guides are very helpful.
I had no idea. I've already learned so much in just a couple of minutes.
So yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So here we're going to just kind of split this in half. So it looks, again, we're trying to create that movement, that momentum here for just some movement and things like that. So it's going to be really cool. So apply for mortgage in our 15 minutes. That's our main header, our attention grabber, if you will. You know, what's the hook, right? That's your first page, is that hook, that something that whatever you think might connect with your audience really, really well. I will say, guys, and this is with any content creation, don't always talk about mortgages. Don't always think that people care about anything about what your company does or whatever. They will care when it's important to them, but don't create content that is just about mortgages. Create a content about your community, about your loan officers, about your underwriters, about your closers, about the humanitarian or community service you guys are doing. All these things are really, really important to share, that holistic view of your company and to humanize your brand. Everybody, not everybody, I shouldn't say that, but surveys and studies show that individuals on social media are looking to connect with personal brands, with people rather than logos, right? They want to see more about how they connect with you, especially younger Gen Z, millennials. They are looking for purpose-driven organizations to be part of and to work with, almost more important than rate, than timeliness, than those things. So show more about you, about your team, and about what you guys care about and what you stand for and who you are as a brand, as a company, and humanize that as much as possible. But here we're talking about applying for a loan in less than 15 minutes. So here you go, and we can just say, you can just come up with a whole bunch of different things, most applications can take weeks or hours. Save time, work with us, right? Whatever you want to say here. We're not talking about the best way to say things today. We're just talking about how to create some cool content. So there you go. Let's talk about video too. One of the cool things that you can do with this is also add video content. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to add with this concept, someone actually applying for the loan or the process of loan application. So in Elements, I'm going to do phone. I'm going to say phone frame to get. Ooh, why is this not giving me what I normally like here? There we go. This here, when you see this like kind of nice little green with the clouds, this shows that you can actually apply something to it. So what we're going to do, let's keep it nice and steady for now. We're going to do this, and I'm going to I've uploaded, I just quickly went on to like the first application I could find, and maybe it's at the bottom here. Okay, thought I'd put this on here.
We can pretend it's an application.
We'll pretend this is an application here, okay?
An application. It looks like an application. Right.
It looks like an application. This is the viewing of our thing here. So yeah, so we're gonna throw on here, take a peek. Right? We'll just show them how easy it is. Make this a little bigger here. Sorry, we'll get to the point here, okay? And then we'll just say these last two are whatever, okay? So what we're gonna do then is, so that's how you create them. That's showing you how to create a video inside of your image here. As you download it, and we'll download in multiple images and into different individual assets to post. Just keep in mind that if you're going to do this on LinkedIn, it's going to be a PDF. You're not going to have an actual video, but if you're on Instagram or on Facebook, they'll actually be able to play that multimedia and have the video on there. Other thing I want to show you as well, since we're talking about video, as you're thinking about different content to create here, Canva recently added the ability to add audio to your video content. And this is honestly really cool, and it actually saved me a bunch of money. I used to use a different service that also cost me like $15 a month, but they've integrated the same music that was on this one into Canva. So if you have Canva Pro, not only do you have all these amazing tools on here, and by the way, I don't get anything for you using Canva Pro. Like, I just love it, and it saved me so much time and money. So
He's not even going to get a t-shirt.
I know they should send me a t-shirt. Yes. But you can actually add music onto your thing, and you can preview it here. It's just kind of like, you know, fun music and everything, but apply that onto here. And now you're, yep. You can choose.
You just drag it in there.
Yeah. So this
Okay.
is, it's on here now. You can see it up here. We can, you know, choose the portion of the music we want to have on here. So if you want that beat drop just at the beginning, we could do that. Yeah, it's really, really cool. You can change the volume of it if you need to. I find some of it to be very intrusive. So I like to have these kind of be down a little low. Somewhere in the teens is probably really good for your music here, especially if you have a voiceover or something like that. So here we've got all these images here. In the interest of time, I'm not going to complete this, but I will show you what it's like to take this past one that I just completed up here and download it. So when you are using the same file like I've done here, and you can copy it into a new one, I just like to have this because I like to drag and drop different images. You do what you want to do. Here, it's going to default to this video because I have audio and I have the video on here. But what I'm actually going to do here is do a PNG or a ping. And then I'm going to say, I want to have not all 3 pages, just page 2. Because guys, here's where the magic happens. All right, this is how we take this one long image and make it into a carousel. So I'm going to download this as a ping, just page 2, because that's the one I want to have. And I'm going to keep the size where it's at. I'm going to click done. And I'm going to click download. And this is downloading as find the right hashtag. But what we're going to do now is we're going to take this and we're going to go to this other tool that I use that's completely free. I know you love that. PineTools.com/split-image. Okay. Let me throw that in the chat for y'all to have, because this is really helpful to everyone. PineTools image. Okay. This is the magic. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload this file. And here we go. I've got it. And then I know that this is 5 wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, it gives you a couple options over here. So I'm going to say horizontal. I'm going to set up as a ping. That's a higher quality image. And then I'm going to say split into equal blocks. And then this blocks I want to have are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to say into 5 images. And then we're going to click split image. And just like that, my image now has the perfect crop marks. Before finding this out, guys, what you had to do is like copy and paste your images and hope that everything lined up just perfectly. So when you swipe, there was no like crossover or badly cropped images. I know you've seen those on Instagram before, and now you know the tip of how to make this work. So now I've downloaded all these images. Also, here's a cool hack as well. What you can do is actually, I'm just going to show you here for my phone. You can download the Canva app from your phone. So to the individual that was asking about posting this onto your using like Hootsuite or a scheduler for carousels, this is what I do here is download Canva app onto your phone, and then you can log into it. And here I've got oh, I missed one point. Duh, Joe. Okay, hang on. I gotta get back here because there's one step I totally forgot. I'm such an idiot. Okay, so we've downloaded those images. Excuse me here, guys, waking up. Now we have to go back to Canva. Oh, well, I didn't show you to download them. You can download them each individually here. So row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, or column 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You download those individual assets and then come back to Canva, say create design, and we're going to do a not custom size, but we're going to do Instagram post 1080 by 1080. And we're going to upload all those images that we had here. I have uploaded them previously. And we're going to say, this is my first one. And here's my little quick tip here. Instead of having to drag and drop it, if you right click and say set images background, that perfectly crops to the edge because it's the correct size. So there's 1, here's 2, here's slide number 3. Slide
You haven't
4.
noticed you're blowing Gabby's mind.
Ah, Gabby.
I'm so upset. I'm happy, but I'm also very upset.
And I
all the
just learned
time
that you can share your phone screen. So I'm just like, what?
Hey,
How does
it
that even
hacks all
work?
over the place. All right, so now we'll have Carousel 2 final, right? And I'm gonna just save this so that it makes sure that it is available to be on my phone. So now I'm gonna go back to my phone. Excuse me, guys, that was kind of lame. I didn't do that up front. So we're gonna share. And by the way, when you share, you just click the share your iPad, iPhone. It only works on iPhone, so Android users, I'm sorry. Then you just do that screen mirroring there and choose Zoom. And then here we are. So now I'm gonna go onto my Canva app, into the designs, and here we go. There's one we just created. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you just click this little download button right up here. And it's going to save your images to your phone. It's going to kind of show you the first image on here.
Now, Joe, while that's uploading, how would you do that with the video? How on one part of your thing you had a video? Would you have to save that separately as a little?
Yeah, so that does, so with the video, you're going to have to cut and crop that one image or that video and save it as on here, put it as a new image with that video.
Okay,
So
I was just
if you're
curious.
adding video into a carousel, it's going to add another layer of complexity to this because I just have the images. So what you would need to do then is just recreate the wheel here by coming back to your first one. Whoops, where did it go? This guy here. And I would just copy this.
And you're still sharing your, we can just still see your phone.
Oh.
Sorry to make you jump over again.
Thank you. Yeah, here we go. Back to this. So I would come back. So sorry, I was in Canva. I would just, you'd have to come back here and, copy your whole thing and put it into where we're at. Into here, where you're going to download everything. So it's that one extra piece that you'd have to do. So kind of a pain, especially if you have overlapping images and everything like that. I would recommend if you're going to add video, not to have overlapping images on this one slide, because that would just make your life a little extra bonkers. So keep it simple if you're going to do this, because you don't want to spend hours on this. Okay. So anyway, back to Instagram or back to your phone. I want to show you the last thing here is we want to make sure this is super easy for you to do and know how to get it all the way through to fruition. So I am here. It is downloaded. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Instagram, and I'll go to my test account here for you. And we'll go ahead. So now I'm on my company Instagram account. I'm going to click plus, sign here. And Instagram's changed this up like a number of times recently. They recently just added back this nice little carousel image here. So click on that, and that will start the clock here. So and then of course, when you download it, it downloads it in backwards order to make things more difficult for your life. So click on your first one. It automatically defaults on the first image. So we're just going to tap on that, make sure that this is number 1. I'm going to come 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then I'm going to click next. So now you can see just review it, make sure it slides nicely, how you're hoping it's going to be. Here's my text with my hashtags. Okay. Make sure to tag some people, guys. Tag some of your employees. Add a location. Make sure you do that always. And then if you wanted to, you can also send this to your Facebook business page. But again, if it's a carousel, highly recommend not doing that because it's not going to look right. But when we click share, it is going to look friggin' awesome. So check this out. Here we go. True power of social media, free mortgage company. Boom. Look how clean that is. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we did that. Now, what about LinkedIn? Let's go back to Canva here. I'm going to delete this. And so for LinkedIn, it's not images. Remember, we're going to go here. We're going to say download. And we're on we've split the image through PineTools. We've added those images back in here into individual 1080 by 1080. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this as a PDF. Okay, so PDF, crop mark, crop carousel 2 final. We're going to click download. It's going to download as a PDF, but on LinkedIn, it's kind of tricky. And so I'm going to show you how to do this really quick. In LinkedIn, when you go to create a new post, I'm going to start a new post. You might think, let's share an image. No, it's a document. So here we're going to choose the file. Here's my carousel 2 final post. You can add a descriptive thing, Joe's test carousel for TMC webinar, right? And I'm going to click done. That's added this on here. That title shows up at the very top. So make sure when you are using that, that it is something that is descriptive of what you're doing, and know that it is going to be viewed by everybody. But you can see how that works on here. So add your caption, your hashtags, tag folks in this. Always tag people, show them what's up. I'm going to discard that draft because you saw already what it looks like in real life, but I'll show you once more. Boom, here you go. By the way, just posted this. Nobody's seen it yet because I didn't tag anybody yet, except for my good old dad. So my dad is the only one who was like this. So if you see this, guys, do me a favor, go to my profile page and like my post, because I'm sad that only one person has liked it so far. That's sad for me.
He's a rock star. That's awesome.
My dad likes every single one of my posts. He is always on LinkedIn doing that. So guys, that is how you create a carousel. Hopefully that was kind of easy for you. I know there are a lot of steps on here, but that's how you do it. So what do we think? What kind of questions do we have? Anything you want to go back over in more detail or have any other further clarifications on?
So you guys, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Now is the time. Joe, I will have to say, I love Gabby, love her. Every time she asks us to post something or share something or do a video, I bang my head because I know that it's going to take, and she makes it super easy too. Like she makes it so easy to do. And I sit there and it takes, I don't know. I mean, it takes an hour for a 3-word post on LinkedIn, because you have to check and make sure that it's right, and then you double and you triple check, and then it's like that hesitation of hitting that, okay, I'm gonna do it, yes, okay, hit return, and then you see the typo or whatever. So I can't, you're doing like this stuff and I'm doing like just a sentence and it still freaks me out.
Yeah, no, I mean, you are not alone in that. I think that every single person on this call who's in marketing has heard that same exact thing from pretty much everybody on their team, and particularly loan officers. And Tony, you are busy doing all sorts of things for TMC and for all the members and the partners, and you're very busy, and your time is very valuable, as is your loan officers, for those who are on this call. And this is one of the biggest hesitations that so many people have, is that they don't have time to do their social media posts. I hear this all the time from loan officers. I don't have the time to do this because, like Tony said, it takes an hour for me to do each post. I don't have an hour in my day to do social media. I also don't even know what to post. It takes forever for me to think through that creative process of what I should be doing. That's where all these wonderful people in marketing have had so many great ideas, and but that execution of getting that out to their loan officers is a little bit more difficult. So that's actually, thank you for bringing that up, but that's honestly, it's difficult to do. That's the reason why, one of the main reasons why we created Social Coaches, because we heard that from so many times from loan officers. And in the marketing teammates that we talked to, they've created a lot of great assets, but pushing that out to loan officers, allowing them to have automatically post their accounts, or to receive and edit slightly and then post it, and have that be randomized, so all this different content you have is evergreen, can go out to all of your loan officers at any given time, is why we created Social Coach. And that's exactly what we do. Beyond creating cool carousels like this all day and doing fun webinars, our software does just that. It helps you get your content out to your loan officers automatically, so they don't have to spend an hour creating each post. You guys can do that one time, and we can have it easily sent out, kind of like Hootsuite, but on steroids, with compliance and randomization, helping you have all your evergreen content get pushed out to all of your loan officers at any given time. So that's what we do. Thank you for asking.
Making people's jobs easier. That's great.
That's what we want to do.
We did have another question, got interrupted, mentioned the dimensions of Canva. What is the size requirement, pixel requirements again, if you
Yeah,
have a 5 square carousel?
great question, Katie. So easy enough to do. So this one we have here for 5 is just 1080 times 5, right? So 5400 wide by 1080 high. So I'll put that in here, width by 1080 height. So a square is 1080 by 1080 pixels. So if you have 2, it would be, what is that? 2160, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can go all the way to 10. So 10 times 1080 is 10,800 pixels wide. I will say you're going to break your eyes if you try to do 10 carousels, 10 slides on there. Also, I seem to remember that some folks on like just different Canva boards I follow and everything, that like 7 was probably like the max that you can like actually get out of Canva. So play around with it. But I think 5 is more than enough. It's just long enough to show you have substance and just short enough for it to be eye-catching and quick. Great question, Katie.
And I also wanted to say for all the fellow marketers out there, so like Tony mentioned, for our team, a lot of the times I'll ask them to make something to put out a post, and it's always helpful if they personalize it. But if you are interested, of course, Joe said that that's something that Social Coach does for you, is that they'll randomize it and they'll help you create content, and Social Coach is absolutely amazing. If you're doing it on a smaller scale, like TMC's team is pretty small, what I usually do is I'll literally send everyone the graphic, some suggested text for them to add to, the hashtags I want them to use, and the URL I want them to use. And I'll be like, here, add whatever you want to it, but just use these couple of aspects to it. I've been doing that for our speakers for our upcoming conference in September, TMC Reunited in California. I've literally been sending to the speakers, here's your graphic, here's your URL, here are the hashtags you should use, and here's something you can say. And it makes it that much easier for people to post out. So it's a little bit of extra work on your end, but it has a lot of payoff if you really just want people to get engaged and you want to see your posts on other people's pages.
Totally.
And then I see Jessica Vilka asked, do you send that in a Word doc or on a certain platform? So our team uses Slack. So sometimes I can send it over Slack. Sometimes I just email it to them. I just email them all of the different aspects. And then as a team, we use monday.com as a project management tool. So sometimes I'll just tag everybody in. It'll be like, here's the graphic, here's all this other stuff, tag them in. You and you are going to post about this on this day. You and you are going to post about it on this day. So it's kind of like, obviously that's a lot of extra work. You could just use Social Coach. It's going to do all that stuff.
I was gonna say, you know, Gabby, we might need to get your team set up on Social Coach, because I think that what you're doing is too hard, and
Yeah,
that's why
so
it takes
it's
an hour.
We appreciate her efforts. Old folks like us appreciate her effort.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
we'll work on this, Gabby, after this call. But
so there are ways to do it. You don't have to add it to like a Word document. I would usually just email it to people. And the thing is, I don't do it all the time because that would take up like so much of my day. But for like special occasions or stuff that we're doing, I would take the time to just send an email out to everybody with all those little pieces, parts.
yeah,
Yeah,
I would say that method is pretty good for your one-offs. And what I think when I think about like mortgage marketers, and you know, the biggest thing for your loan officers is being consistent on social. And that's where, you know, Social Coach really comes in handy, is that you can post to their accounts 3 days a week, just the normal content that can just be automatically sent out. And that's all done automatically. You don't have to worry about it. But then send them 2 more prompts a week that are helping them to build a personal brand, or giving, like Gabby said, sending them something that will spark their interest on what to create, and help them to create their own original content, or just use the content that you have and tweak it for themselves. So if you are interested in that, guys, definitely reach out. Let me know. Send a message in the chat here, or reach out to me via email, joe@socialcoach.io. I would also, anybody on this call, you know, I've done this a lot in the past with other companies. If you guys would like to have a free social media training course for your LOs or for your internal teams, I've done this quite a bit with other LOs, helping them know what to post, how to maximize their time online for business networking and to grow their loans, we'll be more than happy to do that for your team as well. So please let me know how we can be of help. And that, of course, no cost to that, just because you're part of TMC. Just love to help and see people win on social. So that's it, guys.
Thank you so much, Joe. I have already learned multiple levels of things, so do really appreciate. Just a reminder to all of those that are with us today, you will receive an email tomorrow with a link to this video that we will post on our YouTube channel. And just really appreciate you guys being here. Check out some more of our programming on TMC Connect on our website. And until next time, thank you so much, and we hope you have a great week. Thanks, Joe.
Guys. Bye.
Appreciate the hacks.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.